Good morning. Sunday, the 25th, and I can't start the day off without reading the Bible. And I have fixated myself on the last year or two on the books of wisdom. I think it has more to do with me approaching 50, or now that I am 50. Like, man, when does a fella get wisdom? So I'm just going to read these, and thought comes out in my head. Maybe we'll see where it goes. Everybody's coming down for church, by the way. It's a good Sunday morning, so there might be some people coming in and out of the background as we're doing this. So Proverbs 25:1. Hello, Henry. Henry's down here. I'll say hi, Henry. Hey, that was Henry. These two are the Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of King Hezekiah. I haven't said a lot of these words out loud, so in my head, it's kind of irrelevant. The enunciation, how I pronounce the word makes no difference. Just call them men of King Hezekiah of Judah. Copied. It is the glory of God to conceal a matter, and the glory of kings to investigate a matter. As the heavens are high and the earth is deep, so the hearts of kings cannot be investigated. That's a tough one. You know, God sees all. He puts rulers, managers, people, parents, kings, bosses in charge, and they're evaluating so many things all the time. So it's hard to investigate the heart of a king. I can kind of get that one. Remove impurities from silver, and material will be produced for a silversmith. Remove the wicked from the king's presence, and his throne will be established in righteousness. That one, one bad apple spoils the bunch kind of a thing. A little bit of cynicism in a group can just undermine the entire thing. So, yeah, remove the wicked from the king's presence. Don't boast about yourself before the king, and don't stand in the place of the great. For it is better for him to say to you, "Come up here," than to demote you in plain view of a noble. Boy, that's one of those. Don't rush up to the front of the line. Don't rush up to the podium. The music's playing. Oh gosh, I gotta sit back down. Wasn't for me. Yeah, it's definitely better to humble yourself. Don't be like, oh, they're all here for me. Anyway. Don't take a matter to court hastily. Otherwise, what will you do afterward if your opponent humiliates you? Make your case with your opponent without revealing another's secret. Otherwise, the one who hears will disgrace you, and you'll never live it down. Boy, don't take a juvenile stance. Don't take a stance of some poorly thought out accusation to someone that has means, and that it's not going to be it's not wise. Trust me. A word spoken at the right time is like apples in silver settings. A wise correction to the receptive ear is like a gold ring or an ornament of gold. To those who send him, a trustworthy envoy is like the coolness of snow on a harvest day. He refreshes the life of his masters. I was talking to somebody yesterday, in fact, about reading philosophy or about reading the Bible, and what makes it difficult about reading the Bible sometimes, or philosophy, or trying to get into the mind of an author is lack of experience, life experience. So just in this passage alone, it says, is like the coolness of snow on a harvest day. That's not a typical harvest day. If snow were to fall, it's what is it? It's almost July. It's approaching July here in Tennessee. They harvested wheat about a month ago. They'll harvest corn, a couple of months from now. It's not going to snow during harvest time. So that concept gets lost. But you can imagine, maybe, if you've ever harvested anything again. If you've never harvested, if you've never gone out there with Tyler Smith and picked sweet corn, oh man, you want some snow. But it gets lost on you. Sorry. Moving on. The one who boasts about a gift that does not exist is like clouds and wind without rain. Boy, that's one. Just people want to make themselves, we don't want, nobody wants to feel left out. We want to, sometimes we wish ourselves into a place where it's not real. Don't do that. Be real. You're way cooler being real. Trust me. Way cooler. A ruler can be persuaded through patience, and a gentle tongue can break a bone. If you find honey, eat only what you need. Otherwise, you'll get sick from it and vomit. Seldom set foot in your neighbor's house. Otherwise, he'll get sick of you and hate you. I'm reading some of these together because they're meant to be kind of grouped. I love the one about if you find honey, eat only what you need. Wow. I mean, gluttony, the wise person maintains a rich perfume and has lots of abundance of things, which basically means is that, you don't eat everything that you make. You don't consume all that you find. You can. It's going to be too much for you. You'll just puke it right back up. In some form or fashion, trust me, that's not a good one. I like the one about seldom set your foot in your neighbor's house. Yeah. I love my neighbors. I'm thankful for them. I don't want to impose on their daily life because I'm bored, though. All right. A person giving false testimony against his neighbor is like a club, a sword, or a sharp arrow. Trusting an unreliable person in a difficult time is like a rotten tooth or a faltering foot. That whole parable right there is lost on someone that's below age of maybe having wisdom teeth pulled out. A faltering foot, that's definitely talking about someone that's middle-aged. It's hard to grasp some of these concepts. But I will tell you that the one about giving false testimony about your neighbor, it says it in here many, 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 many times about your neighbor. I just referenced, one about staying out of their house too much. Your neighbor, the reason why the police go to talk to your neighbor, go to see about, is, they're the ones that live by you. They're the ones that trust you. They're the ones that observe you. So, if you speak poorly about, let me back up. If you speak falsely about the person that lives right beside you, they depend on you to, in just a little bit, to just be like, no, he would never do that. I've never seen him do or her do anything that you're describing. Or if you say, well, I think he's probably capable of that because I just think he's weird. That's not right. Don't do that. Anyway, singing songs to a troubled heart is like taking off clothing on a cold day or pouring vinegar on soda. This one I really love because I imagine the Israelites doing little volcano experiments like, ooh, look, Pompeii. Look at all them Gentiles covered. No, they wouldn't have done that. But they were doing science experiments back then, vinegar and soda. Been doing that for thousands of years. If your enemy is hungry, give him food to eat. And if he is thirsty, give him water to drink. For you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. This is the best. Anytime that it refers to your opponent or your enemy, you don't want to back down. You don't want to destroy them. You want to lift them up. Most of us aren't fighting with knives and spears and arrows and shooting people. Most of us are fighting with our tongue. And most of us are using our weak ego to defend ourselves and not stand behind God. You know. But if you just encourage somebody, or if you tell somebody that's done something, is doing crappy things to you, just try it. All you have to do is tell them hello and thank you. Those two words. Each time that something happens, you'll be rewarded. It's like a reward. The north wind produces rain, and a backbiting tongue, angry looks. You ever snapped at your wife, backbiting tongue? You get an angry look, I promise you. Better to live on the corner of a roof than to share a house with a nagging wife. Good news from a distant land is like cold water to a parched throat. A righteous person who yields to the wicked is like a muddied spring or a polluted well. It is not good to eat too much honey or to seek glory after glory. A person who does not control his temper is like a city whose wall is broken down. I want to jump right back up to one that needs clarification, in my opinion, because it's repeated in Proverbs in different ways numerous times. And I think men, husbands, use these verses to control and manipulate their spouse. Better to live on the corner of a roof than to share a house with a nagging wife. The implication is that all women nag. That's not the case. Your wife, especially, is your helpmate, your equal, smaller version of yourself. If she's nagging is their role. Their role is to protect us, to remind us of the things that are taking place right here at our doorstep. We are looking at things that are taking place at the city gate, at the state capitol, at our neighbor's house, on our farm. We lose sight of the things that are close to us. That's what the wife does. The wife keeps the rhythm of the home. Now, when the nagging is taking place, typically means that it's kind of like a timer going off, or it's like something being baked, and you forgot about it. It's in the oven. That's what it means. Now, you got to recognize the differences, but difference between nagging and, I don't know, some sort of something you did wrong. But that's why I read these every morning, so I can apply them to my day, so that I can think about the philosophy, so that I can gain wisdom, and that I can be better with my wife, my family, my organization, my church, my community, and remind myself that whenever I do misspeak, to go back and remove the impurities, remove the wicked, remove it. Whenever I follow it, it works. Anyway, happy Sunday. We're getting ready to go. So I like reading them out loud. I like the thought. So let me know what you guys think. Here live from, I'm live, Walnut Grove. Take care.